Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Easy Brooks, and today we will be taking a look at my full Iron Man minifigure collection. We have so many figures to go through, so without further ado, let's get into it. So I feel like it only makes sense to start with the Mark I. I love this figure so much. The detailing is just absolutely insane. And he has the 2017 styled helmet. People say 2020, but this actually appeared in 2017. But it just makes sense to say 2020 because that's when it really started to pop off. But the detailing is immaculate on him. And I'm not going to talk about him too much because this would be a pretty long video. Same with all these figures. So this is the Mark I. Here we have the Mark II, and I actually don't mind this helmet for the Mark II. I think it looks pretty awesome. I really do love this helmet. Not a lot of people do, but I enjoy it quite a bit. And this is just a very clean looking minifigure. And yeah, it's just super awesome looking. Next, we have the Mark III. This came in the Ironmonger set from 2022, I'm pretty sure. And no, 2021. And this is just an awesome figure. I'm not like a crazy fan of it, but it is still amazing, especially this helmet. These little bolts on the top just give it some awesome detailing. It's pretty insignificant, but it looks pretty awesome, and this is just a great figure. Not too long later, we got the second version of the Mark III, and the only thing that's changed about this is, you could say, the headpiece, but also the helmet. It is the newer style, which is arguably the worst. I feel like all LEGO fans kind of agree with that, but it has grown on me. It's still not my favorite, but it's grown on me. Here we have the Mark V. This is one of my favorite Iron Man minifigures, and I do think I like it more than the Silver Centurion, which we'll get to that figure in a bit, but this is just amazing. The Iron Man Armory set that came out in the Endgame wave was just an all-around amazing set. We got so many great figures and a lot of memorable Iron Man suits. Next, we have the Mark VI, and this is a pretty basic figure overall, but it still gets the job done, I feel like. Yes, it's pretty outdated, but the helmet looks pretty awesome, and the legs are pretty basic, but all around, it's a pretty good looking fig. And I think now's a good time to mention that I actually don't own every single Iron Man minifigure. I'm just showing you my collection. But without further ado, this is the Mark VII. This figure is honestly so nostalgic for so many people, and it just looks so great. It's pretty basic, probably even more basic than the last figure, but it's just got that nice charm, and honestly, it still holds up to this day as a good figure. Not necessarily on detailing, but as a good figure. Now we got another Mark VII. Now this figure is one of the best Iron Man minifigures overall, in my opinion. Even with the helmet, I still think this is just immaculate. I mean, look at that. The torso printing is amazing, the leg printing is amazing. These red highlights are just perfect on the torso and on the back of the torso. And the legs, it's just great figure overall. Next, we have a figure that people either really like or find kind of mediocre, but this is the Iron Heart minifigure. This is just amazing. One of my favorites. I loved playing as him in the LEGO Marvel Superheroes game. He's just great overall. My helmet's kind of weird looking. It's got like excess black stuff, but it's still pretty cool. And this figure is just immaculate. I should probably stop complimenting the figures because this all just comes down to opinion. So let's just talk about the detailing. The detailing on this is just, in my opinion, pretty awesome. This is one of my favorite Iron Man minifigures ever made. And I love just the fire effect because my favorite Ninjago character, or one of them, is Kai. And when you take my favorite Marvel superhero and my favorite Ninjago character, smush them together, and you get an Iron Man suit, I love it. This is just a great figure. Next, we got a figure that I'm not a huge fan of, and I forgot his name and what mark he was, but the Digger Arms Iron Man, I guess. I just like not a fan of these shoulder pads. The helmet is decent, and these gauntlet things are just way too big. This is just a decent figure. It had potential, but it doesn't really live up to the hype, in my opinion. Next up, we got Taser. Now, I feel like nobody really hates this minifigure, but it's just not on the top of anybody's list, really. But he is just pretty underrated overall, I feel like. It might just be his kind of bland color scheme, but dark blue just looks great. With silver, I love this. It's very comic-y looking, and I love comic Iron Man suits or any comic-y Marvel figures. So this is just top tier in my opinion. Speaking of top tier, we have the famous Iron Man, Silver Centurion. Sorry about that. This is just a fantastic figure. I think everybody likes this figure. It's a holy grail in the LEGO Marvel community, and that headpiece is just awesome too. Yeah, this is just a great figure and super pricey if you want to get it on eBay or Bricklink or whatever. He's like $80 to $90. You can probably find him for $70, but yeah, good figure. Next up, we got another amazing Iron Man minifigure. We got the Scuba Armor. Now, this minifigure is just fantastic. Sand, green, and bronze is such an awesome color scheme, and on an Iron Man suit, sign me up. This is awesome. He's got this old Hero Factory or Bionicle armor piece. I'm not quite sure which one it was, but it looks great. And if we take off his headpiece, put everything back together, you can see that he's got some pretty awesome looking printing. And this would even just look good on its own, but they went the extra mile and gave him a sand green armor piece with some bricks here. Yeah, this is honestly an awesome figure. All right, I'm gonna go kind of quick here, but we got Bones. He's got some amazing detailing on him, and yeah, he's a pretty solid minifigure. Next up, we got the Mark 42 Iron Man minifigure. This is phenomenal. I love the gold detailing on him, and if LEGO ever remakes this minifigure, which I know they will, I sure hope they make it tan so it's accurate to the movie. But for now, this is a very good minifigure to have, and a great Mark 42 figure to have. Next up is the Mark 43. Now, I am not a huge fan of this minifigure, I'll just say that. It's kind of just weird looking. Looks like he's got a big belly. You'll never unsee that. And I'm not a fan of the leg detailing here, but it's honestly just okay in my opinion. But I do love this helmet piece. This is a great helmet. Here, a bit. This is a pretty solid helmet piece overall. And yeah, honestly, pretty decent Iron Man minifigure. It's one that would probably just build up in your collection if you bought all the Age of Ultron sets, but honestly, pretty decent overall. Next up, we got the new Mark 43 Iron Man minifigure. This is top tier, in my opinion. This is one of the best Iron Man minifigures ever made. He's got phenomenal leg printing, great torso printing, and I love the red highlights on this one, probably even more than the Mark 7. And the helmet just looks great. And you can probably make one of the best Iron Man minifigures ever by taking the old helmet and putting it on. Yeah, this is pretty amazing looking. So yeah, this is just a great figure and one of the best Iron Man minifigures, and he's pretty easy to get at the moment. He's in a $20 set, so I would definitely recommend picking this one up as soon as possible. That kind of dragged on, but we got the Mark 45 here. This is a very sleek looking suit, yet mechanical at the same time. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's very dark red. There's not a lot of red highlights as you'd see on most Iron Man suits or highlights in general, so it's a very bland looking minifigure, but it still is pretty awesome looking. And I love this helmet piece, super underrated in my opinion. Not a lot of people like it, but I really do. And yeah, this is just a all around a pretty solid and unique Iron Man minifigure. Next up, we got the Mark 50. Now, this is a pretty awesome minifigure. It's nanotech, one of the first nanotech suits, actually the first nanotech suit, and nanotech Lego suit for that matter. And he's got a pretty solid helmet piece with these blue eyeballs. Well, eyes, I don't know why I said eyeballs. Some black printing up top. And he's got this nice arc reactor shape, and this is just a solid minifigure. And there was another Mark 50 Iron Man minifigure. I'm not going to get it. He's on my display right now. But it's not that good. I don't really like it. I know B-Boy likes it. Or likes it more than I do. But yeah. Next up, we got an Iron Man that is up there with the Silver Centurion on a scale of detailing and rarity. Yeah, the Quantum suit. I'm just joking. But this is honestly a pretty solid Iron Man minifigure. I love just like suit up lines. And this is just awesome. And I guess we'll tap into the War Machines here for a second too. We got this one right here, the Quantum suit. This is just an awesome looking Iron Man minifigure, and these guys go pretty good together. But next up, we got the Iron Man Mark 85. I'm not a huge fan of this minifigure, only for the reason that the gold just doesn't, you know, match up. It's a completely different color, and that really ruins it for me. But yeah, it's a pretty solid minifigure overall. Pretty easy to find, especially on eBay. He's pretty cheap. But yeah, there's the Mark 85. But we couldn't forget the newest 85. This one actually has a blue face, but you can get it with a normal Tony Stark face in the Advent calendar. But yeah, some people would say that they improved on this design with a more nanotech looking helmet and the right gold color for the legs. But they could have just went all out with the arms too. It's honestly a pretty cheap and lazy looking figure in my opinion. One of my least favorite Iron Man minifigures. So yeah, honestly, in my opinion, not great, but I respect your opinion if you like this one. Now tapping into comic designs, we're all done with MCU Iron Man suits for now. We got the Mark III, I'm pretty sure, or Model 3, I'm not quite sure. But this is an awesome looking figure. I mean, I really can't decide if I love it or don't love it. It's kind of hard to say, but it's just a pretty decent looking comic armor. And he's got the classic Tony Stark face that is on pretty much all these Iron Man figures here, besides some of them. A lot of them actually have clear head pieces, surprisingly, but yeah, pretty decent figure. Next, we got an Iron Man exclusive to a book, surprisingly, and it's Model 64, I'm pretty sure. And this figure is just awesome. Used to be one of my top favorites, probably not up there anymore, but it is still pretty awesome and unique. And I do love comic figures. I feel like the eyes are kind of bland and the arc reactor is just a little bland, but I wish it was more like of a lighter shade of blue, but still pretty cool. Next, we'll take a look at a rescue minifigure. Honestly, one of my favorite Iron Man minifigures. I love the red and the silver, and it just looks great. If Lego would make like a Tony Stark figure just like this in this exact type of detail, I'd probably go pretty crazy. This is honestly a top tier minifigure. Next, we got Christmas Sweater Iron Man. Now, this figure is not great, and it's honestly kind of disappointing as an Iron Man suit, but it's still pretty unique if you want to make like a Christmas mock of some kind. I don't know. It's honestly a decent figure. Nothing to brag about, but yeah, it's there. And Iron Man Prime. This figure is awesome. I got him with his jet booster things right now. But I love this figure so much. People hate it. Honestly, I think it's an awesome Iron Man suit. Pretty underrated. He came in a lot of sets, but I love him so much. One of the most hated Iron Man minifigs, but honestly, I think he's one of the best. Next, we got a pretty underrated Iron Man minifigure that came in a $10 set. There's nothing really like crazy about this one, but he's almost all gold apart from his arms and his helmet. And speaking of the helmet, I love this. People said he looks mad or whatever, but I think it's just a cool, like, Igor looking design. And it's pretty cool overall. Yeah, solid figure. Now, time to tap into War Machine. First War Machine suit we're looking at is the Mark I. Now, this figure, in my opinion, is one of the worst Iron Man figures ever made. And definitely the worst War Machine figure ever made. He's got this headpiece that looks nothing like James Rhodey. The helmet looks kind of squashed and weird. The arc reactor is like not even visible. And it's just a lot of random mechanical detailing. Yeah, this is a pretty boring minifigure in my opinion. And one of the worst Iron Man minifigs. Then moving on to one of the worst to one of the best, we have the Mark II. This figure is fantastic. I love everything about it. And he's actually got a face that resembles James Rhodey, and yeah, I just love it so much. and this helmet piece is awesome too. This is a top tier Iron Man minifigure. Next, we got the $15 Mech Suit War Machine. And if I were you, I'd pick up multiple copies of that set because this is one of the best War Machine minifigures ever, in my opinion. If not the best. He just looks awesome. Super awesome detailing and cool color scheme too. Never been done before. With this gunmetal gray and the light bluish gray for an Iron Man suit. Sign me up. And this, it's not like transparent red detailing. It's like straight red detailing. It looks awesome. Definitely buy this if you haven't already. Then last but not least, we got the 2020 War Machine suit. Super awesome minifigure. He came in a $120 helicarrier set, and he probably would have been pretty expensive, except the fact that he came in like a $5 European magazine. Super kind of embarrassing, honestly. He could have been pretty pricey, but he isn't. But I guess it's good for those collectors that can't really afford Iron Man suits, because you can get a nice War Machine minifigure for like 15 bucks or so. So yeah, pretty solid figure. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button as well as subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.